Hey guys, welcome back into my studio. So recently I've been getting a lot of questions in regards to how I transfer my line art onto my actual Scratchboards itself. So today I thought I'd give you a little video just talking you through how I do that process. So this is a bit of a test piece. It's just going to be an eye study on a clay board that I've actually just put some India ink over the top of. But this is going to work exactly the same if you're doing it on just normal Scratchboard. My process would be the exact same for that. So once you've got your line art drawn up, that can either be drawn up on tracing paper, you know, if you want to trace your reference photo, that's fine. If you want to draw it up on a piece of paper beforehand, then the process really isn't going to change. You'll just be using normal paper or a photograph instead of transfer paper, instead of tracing paper, sorry. So the first thing we're going to do, we don't want this board sort of sliding about on our table whilst we're doing our drawing up. So all I do is get some masking tape, you know, or just normal sellotape, whatever you've got available. I'll double it over just to make it sort of double-sided. I normally use about 2 or 3 on each one that I do. And then I just stick it to the back and press it down where I'm going to want my board to stay. And now you'll see, even with a little bit of knocking, it's not really going to go anywhere, because what you don't want to do is put your line art on top, be halfway through drawing it up, knock your board, and then it's going to take you ages just to line everything back up again. So this way it's just a little bit easier. Next thing, what you're going to do is just line up, make sure that you're going to have your reference photo, your line art in the correct place, make sure it all lines up to where you want it to be. And then you're going to do the exact same. You're just going to stick this bit down with some, like I say, normal sellotape. I use masking tape just because it's a little bit less tacky. So I'm not afraid that I'm going to rip my line art or damage the board in any way when I remove this. And it's up to you how many you want to use on securing this down. It's probably better to have too many than too little, to be honest. Make sure that you leave one side sort of open so that you can slide the transfer paper that we're going to use through. Otherwise you're going to struggle to sort of maneuver it. So now that's secured down. Shouldn't move too much. I might actually just adjust this. All you want to do is make sure that when you're sticking these parts to the actual line art, you're not covering up what you're going to want to transfer over, because like you don't want to miss any details when you're moving your line art over. So what I use to actually transfer onto my board is what's called, it comes as many names. So you've got carbon paper, transfer paper, graphite paper, and then all it is, it's pretty much all the same thing. So you've got this sort of matte look inside, and then you've got more of a shiny look inside. Now this shiny look inside is the part that you're going to want facing the board. You're going to want to draw on top of this area, because this, the shiny part, is what's going to actually transfer onto the board. Now you can get this in a couple of different colours. I know a lot of people use white just because it shows up a lot more on a black scratchboard. But I found, especially when I was doing my early drawings and my early scratchboards, the white I found quite difficult to either remove or to hide, as in mask, you know, in with the first strokes and things that I was doing. I felt like I could still see it sort of poking through my finished piece at times. So I've changed now to this black carbon paper or graphite paper. Now it is a little bit harder to see once it's on the board, but if you get your light at the right angle, it's not impossible to see, and it just allows me to hide things a little bit better. You can use this many times. As you probably saw, there was a lot of my old drawings already on this piece of transfer paper, so it is reusable, so you get a lot of use out of it. And to be honest, I just buy them off Amazon. It's a relatively cheap thing to buy, to be honest. So when you've got it facing down, really you've got 2 options in regards to what you want to do. You can either use a pen or a pencil, or you can use one of these embossing tools. It's just a standard embossing tool, nothing special about it. But sometimes I do like using a pen, just because then you can actually see where you've already gone over, so you're not re-going over the same part twice. Especially if you've got quite a large drawing, it's quite easy to forget where you've already been. So this is the part you're just going to want to do a couple of little test scratches, just to make sure that, one, your transfer paper is actually laying down, you've got enough pressure, because the last thing you want to do is sort of go over the entire board and then realise it was either facing the wrong way, or there was an issue. So you might not be able to see it on camera, but I can see that I've got a couple of little first strokes there, so that's fine. So that's in the right place, it's all working absolutely fine. And we'll get on with this line art. Okay, so we're going to remove this line art now, this tracing paper. I'm going to pull it off the table. Now you probably saw a couple of times in that the board started to move around. My line art started to move around. I was having a bit of a nightmare. I think it's just very warm in my studio today, so the masking tape isn't as sticky as it normally is. But I managed to sort of make it work, and that's still the same process that I'd use. Now I don't know, I'll try and get it at an angle so that you guys can see it, but you can just about see these black lines and these black sort of lines where my line art is. I know the board's a little bit streaky, I'm just doing a little test piece, but you sort of get the idea of how it works. So that's the process that I use to transfer my line art. Obviously there are a lot of different ways that you can do it out there. This is just my method, and I know, like I say, I've had a lot of questions in regards to how I do it, so I thought I'd just share that video with you guys. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you again in the next one.